Hi, how are you? Why does a drummer have a guitar on his lap? Oh well, I'm going to do my best here. I'm going to give you a bit of theory and harmony, okay? I'll just go straight to the chase. What happens is that there's three fundamentals in music. We have melody, what we sing, harmony, the chords, so on, and rhythm. And so on it goes. Now what happens is one of the things that I just want to quickly talk about in a very quick sort of state here, before I get back to drums again, is the fact, the relationship between melody and harmony. How do we make chords, and where do all these pesky chords come from, like C add 9, what's that? And all this sort of business. There's three kinds of chords. There's a major chord, a minor chord, and a dominant seventh chord. A major chord is built from a scale. So what we have is, let's say, do, re, mi, that many of you have sung in primary school. There it is there. Okay? Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. That's why I don't teach singing. And what goes on then is that a major chord is built from the first, the third, 1, 2, 3, do, a dear, and then the fifth. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you see? And when you're dealing with the key of C, it's a funny thing. The musical alphabet goes from A to G. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. There's no note H. Okay. M is right out. And what happens is that you have A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, and we count them, you see. But the funny thing about music is that we have this thing called middle C on the piano. If you get a piano and cut it in half, the very first piano lesson you would ever have, the teacher will grab your little 8-year-old thumb and whack it into middle C and says, there it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. C, D, E, F, G. And there you go. And with your left hand, poof, middle finger. Oh, sorry, middle C, thumb on middle C. So what happens is that everything, it's all the white notes, right? All the natural notes is what we call them. And when we do it on guitar, when you're learning guitar and learning to read music on guitar, we have this big, long, crazy fretboard that people go, can't you just tab it out? No, I can't, because I want to play that book, and I want to play the real book, and I want to work. I want to work at music. I love it. I'm fascinated by it. So what happens is we learn the first string, E, F, G. Second string, B, C, D. Third string, G, A. Da, 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 da. And then we will theory you. Okay, so G, A, D, E, F. We don't need no education. A, B, C. There's a lady who's sure all that glitters is gold, and she's buying a stairway to heaven. I hope so no one sues me for me playing that bit. And then we have E, F, G. And down the bottom. So you put them all together. There it is there. It sounds very Spanish, and it's good to be Spanish because that's where the guitar was invented, in Spain. And what happens is that you take the scale, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Alright. The major chord is built from the first, the third, and the fifth of that scale. So it's C is 1, E is 3, and G is 5. And then what you want to do is find 3 places to play it, really. You got your, and that's what we call voicings, okay? So you take those 3 notes and spread it over the guitar. So obviously, in a perfect world, there's 2 of each one, because we've got a 6-string guitar. There's your C chord, right? And what I've done is I've essentially placed those 3 notes, and with this particular chord shape, I've managed to have 2 of everything, like the arc. You see? And there it is. And then it's very good to have 3 of them, you see. So you have a C. You can have a C here. Now the C is there. Okay, 5th string, 3rd fret. And so this would be called a root 5 bar chord. Because the root note, the C for the C major scale, is based on the 5th string, root 5. Get it? Got it? Good. Okay, and then what happens is that if you go to the 6th string, the way that the strings are strung, okay, you'd go to the 8th fret, and then you play this chord. And that is also a C, so you can have... Now that comes, or that becomes quite important later on when you're doing arrangements of songs and stuff. You might want to start low with a bit of finger picking. In the middle, when the singer starts singing, you might want to go here, and then later on to finish it off. You don't want to just chug along 3 guitarists all in a row going so like that. I mean, you can if you've got different guitars. I've seen it done beautifully, don't get me wrong. I've seen it done beautifully with, say, an acoustic guitar in the left channel, you know, that kind of thing. 12-string guitar on the right, perhaps classical guitar in the middle, and what am I explaining? I'm explaining this. That's how it is, you see. That's when you listen to it, you can actually see the spread. But what often happens, next time you're at a gig and you don't know much about guitar, let's say, have a look at the 2 guitarists. Work out why one's up here and one's down there. They're making arrangements of their songs and creating a big sound with what they've got. Now, to finish off this little thing, I've done the scales. We all know that. We've done that at primary school. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Miss, I need to go to the toilet. All that sort of stuff. There it is. Let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If we keep on going, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Now, when you're learning guitar, or if you're just basically playing guitar, or just have an interest in guitar, all that sort of business, you're going to see these crazy chords like C add 9 and C sus 4 and all this. Now, very quickly speaking, when you see sus, S-U-S, it means suspended. So you've got your chord, and then you suspend an extra note on it. You know, my students just laugh at me, not with me, when I say it's like the pie you put on. It's like the sauce you put on the pie. So there's our C chord. Now, if you see a C sus 4, do the scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, C, D, E, F. That's an F note. So what you do is you play your chord, and you, with a spare finger somewhere, you play the F. Take it off, put it on, then take it off, baby, put it on, then take it off, and then take that finger off, and what's that note? It's a D, so C, D, that's a sus 2, thank you very much. Now what happens if we have a thing called octaves? Thank you, by the way. I hope you're applauding at home. If you've got, just put your beer down and have a clap. Thank you. And what happens now, there's your C. Now if we take that up an octave, octave meaning 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. What you have then is a thing called a compound interval, because an interval is the distance between 2 notes. So the interval of a fourth is 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a fourth. Pretty simple. It's not rocket science. But if you go up the octave, it's called a compound interval. So you don't use sus anymore. You can't have there's no such real thing as a C sus 9. If you see it in a book, that book's a bit sus. And so what happens is you have to change it to add 9 because it's a compound interval. Go to a theory book for that, which is beyond the scope of a TV show. You need to sign up for theory lessons and all that, you know, sort of thing, the same way that a tradie would do a TAFE course. So what happens is that you have C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D. So what happens is you've got a C sus 2, which is this one. C sus 2, then C add 9. And there you have it, you see. And that's what happens there. Now sometimes what goes on is that you might make, I've got my student coming in. Hi, I'm just filming, so just give me a little second, and I'll be right with you. What's happening now is that you've got your C, and then what happens now is that if I played the C add 9, sometimes you're in the road of the singer, okay? So what you want to do, like, what happens is if the singer's got to go D, and you just play a C, it's a bit exposed. But if you put the D in there, D, you're giving your singer some support. But what happens is sometimes you're in their range, which makes it a bit clunky. So put it an octave lower. D, baby, I love you so much. So on.